Right now, in the middle of Nigeria's capital, construction crews are doing something that hasn't happened in 35 years. They are digging into the foundation of the country's most recognizable monument, the Abuja City Gate. Two white arches that have marked the entrance to the capital since 1991. Millions of Nigerians recognize this shape, and right now it's being torn apart. The official explanation is refurbishment, but the scale of what's happening at this site tells a different story. This is the story of a 40-kilometer road, a 35-year-old monument, and a government bet that most people have completely misunderstood. By the end of this video, you will know exactly why Nigeria is spending this money and why the answer has nothing to do with the construction itself. Quick context. In 1976, Nigeria decided Lagos was too crowded, too coastal, and too ethnically divided to remain the capital. So they did something radical. They built a new one from the scratch in the geographical center of the country. Abuja was designed by the same architectural team behind Hiroshima Peace Memorial, a planned city, a blank slate, Africa's answer to a city called Brasilia. The gate was completed in 1991, the same year the capital officially moved from Lagos. Two white arches forming an H shape over the highway. It was designed as a threshold, the monument you cross from the bush into the idea of a new Nigeria. For 3 decades, that's exactly what it was. The symbol worked. The white arches became the visual shorthand of Abuja itself. But symbols have a shelf life, and by 2024, the gate had become something the government never intended it to be. The lighting failed first, then the paint, then the landscaping. By 2024, the grand entrance of Africa's most expensive capital city looked like something the government had forgotten existed. And the critics noticed. Newspapers ran editorials, social media was brutal. But here's the part people miss. The government hadn't forgotten. They actually tried to fix it 3 times. Between 2009 and 2020, Nigeria launched 3 separate gate replacement projects: LED facade, water features, rotating observation decks. Combined, estimated budget exceeds 50 billion naira. Not a single one broke ground. The pattern was always the same: grand announcement, ambitious design, insufficient funding, political turnover, project dead. And each failure made things worse because every time a new plan was announced, maintenance on the existing gate was deprioritized. Why fix the old one if you are about to replace it? So by 2025, the FCT minister had a choice. Try again with a mega project number 4, which would almost certainly die the same death, or work with what's already there. They chose refurbishment. Julius Berger got the contract. The heavy machinery moved in, and that decision on its face looks like a reasonable, pragmatic pivot. Except for one detail that doesn't fit. If this is a refurbishment, new paint, new light, new landscaping, why are they excavating the foundation? You don't dig 6 feet into the earth to hang new floodlight. Something else is going on. 35 years of tropical climate, heavy rain, intense UV, harmattan dust have degraded the original cladding beyond repair. New weatherproofing, new drainage channels at the arch's crown, new connection point for lighting infrastructure. The engineering brief is what the industry calls preservation first refurbishment. The iconic H shape stays identical, but every material behind the silhouette is being replaced. That raises an uncomfortable question. If the government was willing to go this deep, to spend this much, to commission Julius Berger to structurally work on monuments, then the motivation isn't nostalgia. There is a calculation behind this, and the calculation has a name. The calculation is called gateway infrastructure, and Nigeria didn't invent it. In early 2000, Rwanda government looked at Kigali and made a decision before fixing everything. Fix the thing visitors see first: the airport road, the city entrance, the arrival experience. It was controversial. Kigali had real infrastructure deficit, but they did it anyway. Within 5 years, Kigali went from a post-conflict capital that most investors wouldn't visit to one of the top conference destinations in Africa. Foreign direct investment tripled. Urban economists trace a measurable correlation between arrival corridor investment and investment sentiment scores. The gateway wasn't decoration, it was a conversion funnel. Singapore understood this decades earlier. Shangin Airport isn't just an airport, it's a brand statement designed so that the first 15 minutes in the country sell the next 15 years of investment. Dubai built an entire philosophy around it. Every highway from airport is curated experience. India just spent $2 billion re-landscaping the space around India Gate in New Delhi. The gate itself didn't change, but the space around it was completely reimagined because India understood that the national symbol isn't just what it looks like, it's what it feels like to stand in front of it. And that reframes everything about Abuja project. This isn't a government wasting money on monument. This is a government copying a playbook that has worked in every developing capital that successfully attracted foreign investment in the last 20 years. The playbook worked for Kigali, Singapore, Dubai, but those cities did something else alongside the gateway, something Nigeria hasn't done yet. And that's where the story stops being optimistic. Here's the problem: the gateway playbook. In every city where it worked, Kigali, Singapore, Dubai, the gateway was the first move in the sequence. The arrival corridor was upgraded and then the government followed through with the infrastructure behind it: roads, transit, utilities. The gateway was a promise and the city delivered on it. Right now, Abuja is making promise without a clear plan to deliver. The light rail system, over $1 billion invested, is partially operational at best. Satellite towns housing millions of workers are growing faster than services can reach them. The city's internal road network has gaps that have been documented for over a decade. Abuja City Gate is being rebuilt to a world-class standard. The question isn't whether the refurbishment is well engineered. It clearly is. The question is whether the city behind the gate will match the gate in front of it, because if it doesn't, the gateway playbook doesn't create confidence. It creates a contrast that makes the failure more visible, not less. Every developing capital in the world eventually faces this choice. Do you fix the entrance or do you fix the interior? The answer in every case that worked was both, starting with the entrance. Nigeria has started, the gate is being reborn, and now the clock is running on everything behind it, because a gate by definition is only the beginning. I cover breaking infrastructure project stories like this every week. The engineering, the politics, the money behind the project nobody else is explaining. If you want the next one, when it drops, subscribe.